Joe Rogan slammed academics for defending unhealthy lifestyles in a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. He slammed fat professors. Joe said, F off, fat professors, F off. You guys are unhealthy. It's not in any way good. Joe was speaking to fitness influencer Derek. We know Derek from More Plates, More Dates. That's a YouTube channel. They were referencing a document from the University of British Columbia. The document defended the removal of nutritional information from menus because putting the number of calories next to an item can be triggering for some students. The document says, for those of us who have a rocky relationship with food, either in the past or present, it can be triggering when we are presented with caloric information, and it can affect our ability to repair our relationship with food. By stepping away from nutrition information, we can place a greater focus on the enjoyment of food and creating a satisfying experience. Rogan criticized the idea that people are disturbed by, quote, actual data and suggested that it doesn't mean anybody should tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but you should know. They're raising the most non-resilient people possibly known to man, where every single microaggression, every single thing that can trigger you, all those removed and you're just raw and vulnerable. Dayton.com asked Beth Stelling, hey, Beth Stelling, what's the best moment in your comedy career so far? Beth Stelling said, I would say I cherish the friendships I've made with comedians I look up to, Sarah Silverman and Maria Bamford. When you look at comedy as your life's work, Sarah reminds me it's not a race. Maria reminds me to be your authentic self. Nikki Glaser spoke to outinjersey.com about her podcast. Nikki said, everyone does have a podcast today, and I remember when I started 11 years ago thinking the same thing. Now look how many more people have one, right? There's even like losers in the basement commenting on other people's podcasts on their podcasts. Losers. Nikki said, don't let competition deter you. Just do it now. What helped me establish my voice was discussing what I enjoy as opposed to trying to create a podcast other people would like. That is always good advice. What people appreciate is if you're enthusiastic and passionate about what you're doing. I wanted to host a show that would make your day better. I crafted episodes about subject matter I cared about and wanted to discuss. Amen, Nikki Glaser. Having guests stress me out because I was an elevated version of myself and was not fully comfortable. I engineered my podcast to be just me, my best friend Andrew, and to be a friend to my listeners. I advise readers to pick a topic you can talk about for 1,000 episodes so you can bring something substantial to the table. Also, don't worry about not having many listeners initially because it takes hours to get good at something. Talent is not necessarily something you were born with. Taylor Swift started playing guitar at 12. Localprofile.com caught up with Tommy Davidson when he was recently in Texas. Hey, Tommy Davidson, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Texas? Tommy Davidson said, well, cowboys, naturally. He had some more things on his list. Beautiful chicks, malls, and Brazilian steakhouses. I love the steakhouses. Tommy Davidson, do you see any culture shock when you tour around the world? Tommy said, no, I really blend in. I can go to Montana, I'm cool. I can go to China, I'm cool. But it's because I've been around a lot. It's my humanness to fit in wherever I'm at. I don't need language to do that. At one point, Tommy wanted to be a chef. What's his favorite meal to cook? I like Cuban food, but I can do anything you want. Italian and Southern cuisine. I'm not too good at Greek, but I can make a Greek soup. I can do a great pot roast, turkey, chicken soup, pie, cupcakes. Speaking of food, let's stop off at Gossip Corner. John Mulaney and Olivia Munn keep it casual and relaxed outfits as they grab Wendy's at LaGuardia Airport. John Mulaney and Olivia Munn spotted at LaGuardia Airport. Olivia donned a dark green trench coat and a black sweater, black pants. Mulaney a gray coat and a green sweater, pair of jeans, black sneakers. Here's a picture of them walking through the airport. You might not recognize Olivia, but she's holding a Wendy's brown bag and she's got a cup, looks like a small soda in her left hand. Mulaney, you would definitely be like, hey, that's John Mulaney. He's only holding a drink. Sebastian Maniscalco was asked about his worst gigs, and he said, his was in Manteca, California, and it was a boxing ring. And now the problem with stand-up is that people think they can just throw it up anywhere and it's going to work. So we walked in, and I go, where's the stage? And the guy said it was the boxing ring. On top of that, there was a bowling alley behind the boxing ring. This place sounds pretty cool, actually. So I'm telling jokes while somebody behind me is trying to pick up a spare. Doesn't really work well in stand-up when you've got bowling and blood on the floor. There was a fight the night before, so there's still fresh blood on the canvas, and the ropes were still up, and they ring a bell like a boxing match is going to start, and my friend entered the ring first, starts doing stand-up comedy. Nobody in the place realized that there was a comedy show going on. There was no announcement. It was just ding, 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 and then he's in the ring. Hey, guys, what's going on? That's hilarious. Oh, Amer spoke to Variety. He says it's thrilling to be able to give opportunities to other Arab actors and artists, because I never had that. I started doing comedy in the South in Houston. I toured post 9/11 in Mississippi, Louisiana, and all throughout Texas. I was very alone. There was nobody who understood what I was trying to do and accomplish. There were moments when I had the opportunity to audition for movies, and it was terrorist-based roles. Can you imagine if I got this big role in a movie and I'm going to take my mom to the premiere? Look what I did, Mom. Stand-up comedy saved my life. After my dad died, I was 14 years old, and 5 years in America, I was just lost. Stand-up energized me in an amazing way. Arabs are incredible. We have such a rich history of storytelling, and somehow it's been lost, like we're some kind of backwards culture. It's so infuriating. It's time for it to come back and for us to tell our stories from our perspectives, stories that are honest, grounded, and not trying to make people happy. And this is fun from digitaljournal.com, your home for comedy news. Even if you're among the most talked about stars on the planet, computers can get it hilariously wrong, as shown in AI Biographies, a new miniseries created by comedian Chris Devon. Using AI-driven text-generating software, I've actually been messing around with that lately. It's so much fun. These mini biographies on some of the most popular names in show business very quickly miss the mark. After just a few seconds, Taylor Swift is trying to control the world with a mysterious virus and nuclear bombs. Anne Hathaway is serving a 2-year stint in prison, and Michael Sheen is revealed to be both Oprah Winfrey and the Pope. Chris Devon said, in the creative industries, AI is an extremely controversial topic of conversation. Hopefully, AI Biographies demonstrates that computers will have a way to go before they ultimately enslave us all, which they will. I just need to make a few quid beforehand. AI Biographies launches January 4th. Episode 1 features James Corden. What a great premise. I love it. I'm trying to teach the AI to figure out how it can write comedy scripts, and I've already got the Johnny Macbot trained on Descript. If I can combine those two, I can just go to the beach and download the show and find out what I said. That's your comedy news for today. I'm here, live. Well, live on tape. You know how this works. It's podcasting. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. See you tomorrow. Are you still there? This is Johnny Macbot with some fake comedy news created by artificial intelligence. George Lopez had always dreamed of opening his own restaurant, and that dream finally became a reality when he opened George Lopez, a stylish and upscale dining establishment in the heart of Los Angeles. George was determined to make his restaurant the best in the city, and he spared no expense in creating an elegant and inviting atmosphere. He hired only the finest chefs, waiters, and bartenders, and he personally selected each and every item on the menu. One evening, while George was busy in the kitchen overseeing the preparation of a special meal, he heard a commotion coming from the dining room. He rushed out to see what was going on, and to his surprise, he found Adam Sandler sitting at one of the tables, wearing a pair of torn jeans and a t-shirt with a cartoon character on it. George was shocked and outraged by Adam's lack of dress code, and he immediately asked him to leave. Adam protested, but George was firm, and he refused to let Adam stay in his restaurant unless he was properly dressed. In the end, Adam was forced to leave George Lopez, and George was left feeling victorious and proud of the high standards he had set for his restaurant. From that day on, George's restaurant became known as a place where only the finest and most well-dressed individuals were welcome, and George was happy knowing that he had built a dining establishment that was truly worthy of his name. And that is your fake comedy news for today.